Hello, I'm Tony, and today we are taking a quick look at Dishonored Death of the Outsider, free from the Epic Games Store until the 9th of February 2023. This is basically a DLC for Dishonored 2, but as a standalone game, providing us a different storyline. In this one, we are concentrating on Billy Lurk, who was initially introduced in Dishonored 2 as Megan Foster, the captain of the Dreadful Whale and a key ally in that game. She is seeking out her old mentor, Dowd, the assassin leader who has played an instrumental part in both of the previous games. As with my Dishonored 2 video, I'll not be detailing the basic gameplay. For that, I recommend watching my Dishonored review, but instead I'll be commenting on the changes that this new incarnation brings. It's very much Dishonored 2 graphically. I don't see a huge amount of difference here. As with the previous games, my non-gaming laptop has had to drop the quality settings to low to get a playable frame rate, which is not surprising since it doesn't actually meet the recommended specs. But luckily for me, it still looks decent and runs okay. I think I do need to say that people shouldn't judge this game from the performance I show here. It's happened before in a review and it's a bit harsh on the game. The point of these reviews is to highlight free games, particularly for those that can't afford the expensive ones, and also might not be able to upgrade their gaming PC to a higher spec, which is me at the moment. Hopefully I can then let people know what's out there and what is playable on lower end systems, like mine. Back to the game. The amount of unnecessary chatter from our protagonist that I didn't really enjoy much from Dishonored 2 has been reduced a lot. And the amount of talking from NPCs may have even been increased, which kind of rounds out the feel of the game's virtual world as an actual place. You can also listen in on the rat's thoughts, though I've yet to learn anything useful. It's a nice touch though, and it keeps that kind of link with the rats that was so strong in the previous games. Billy has the now usual adaptations on the magical skills bestowed by the outsider, though she has only 4 this time, and there's a much more restrictive build element here. You can't upgrade or even choose a skill path. You have the 4 skills that the game gives you at the beginning, and that's that. There's not even runes anymore. There are still bone charms though, but they're now the only mechanism for customising your character. Which is a shame, because it was really satisfying crafting your character to be sneakier, or whatever the alternative is that I have never considered because I always sneak. The teleport style skill is interesting, as it creates an invisible clone of you that you can teleport on another press of the relevant button. This is really useful and a significant change from the immediate teleport before. You can set the teleport up, move around, or wait for a more opportune moment to actually teleport and then do it. You can also swap places with someone else, which is really bad for the person you swap with. But since I'm playing these games looking to not hurt anyone, I've never tried it. Talking of not harming or harming someone, there's no chaos system anymore. So the levels and environment aren't going to change depending on your actions. They're going to be the same regardless. Along with the new teleport skill, you also have a new sensing skill called Foresight. Where previously the skills would highlight runes and bone charms and other objects to pick up, and you could invest in to track people through walls, this doesn't do this anymore. What it does is it freezes time and allows a spirit form to free roam around as long as your mana stuff lasts, where you can mark targets and objects, and also set teleport points. When you return to normal time, anyone or anything marked will still be visible, even through walls. And if a teleport position you set is visible and within a certain range, you can jump to it. But hold on, if all of your mana's gone, how can you teleport? I can't hear you asking because this is a video. Well, mana just regenerates now, and it does so pretty quickly. So this isn't an issue anymore, and you don't need potions to restore it. This has pretty big consequences for traversal, because you can actually teleport further than you can set a marker for. Which means if there's a ledge that's a little bit too far away, you can use foresight, set your little beacon teleport point there, and then when you pop back to normal time, you can actually teleport there even though you couldn't reach it previously. This has become a staple of my gameplay now, because it's another option that you can utilise. Just like the sort of chameleon option that you now have. You can now copy the appearance of someone with the third skill who is unconscious, and it lets you move around as them for as long as your mana lasts. It drains mana as you move. This can give you a couple of dozen seconds to pass through a bunch of guards without raising an alarm, but you do need a safe area for when it runs out. The fourth skill is rat talking, which I've already mentioned, and I'm sure the developers have put it in to be useful somewhere, I just haven't seen it yet. Something new in my experience of the game is contracts. These are given to you by the black market vendor that you can optionally seek out, and also acts as a shop to buy your upgrades. Basically optional side quests that you used to just get from quest givers, but now they come in the form of contracts. Probably half of them were to assassinate someone, which I didn't want to do given the non-lethal run I was trying to go for. Though there are plenty of theft based or kidnap based ones. I did try a couple of kidnap ones out, and they were pretty tricky to pull off. Getting a barman and a civilian out of a crowded bar without losing my ghost title was a real thinker, which I solved with a really cool stun grenade and a bit of running away and hiding. These extra quests really bulk out the playtime, as you'd expect, which I've seen reported as being 8 hours. They can be really good fun, but they're also optional, so it's nice to just go, nope, can't be bothered with this, and just get on with the main quest. I have felt that there's a bit of a higher difficulty in the main quest. The areas that you go into tend to be patrolled more frequently and with more people covering all of the angles, so you do need to really utilise your skills and all of your options at times. This does feel like a smaller experience than the previous two games. The action takes place in the same relatively small town, which you visit chapter after chapter, and so it becomes quite familiar. It's not a criticism really. I don't think these things need to be like so expansive, and I'm a fair way in after about 5 hours, so that 8 hours sounds about right. Now if this was a paid game, it could be an issue depending on the price, since most people might think that this should be released as a DLC rather than a standalone game that it is. I do recommend this game for all those that enjoy the genre. The Dishonored series are great games, and this is no exception, so go and grab this. I'm going to sneak off without alerting anyone, except you who I've just told, so thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.